Sorry about last night, y'all. Last time I tried to react to a George Washington of Carver video, it it was copyrighted, so I didn't know the History Channel was so strict like that. So I moved on to a different video. So let's check it out.
Welcome to the story of liberty. George Washington Carver was born a slave during the Civil War, possibly in 1865, but there are no records to confirm this. Within a few weeks, his
Sorry about that. Property. Let's try it again.
Welcome to the story of liberty. George Washington Carver was born a slave during the Civil War, possibly in 1865, but there are no records to confirm this. Within a few weeks, his father, who belonged to the farm next door, was killed in a log hauling accident. Shortly after the Civil War, while still an infant, George, with his mother and sister, were kidnapped by bushwhackers. Moses Carver sent friends to track down the thieves and to trade his best horse to retrieve them. The thieves only left baby George lying on the ground, sick with the whooping cough. George never saw his mother and sister again. Illness claimed the lives of two of his other sisters, and they were buried on the Carver farm. George and his older brother Jim were raised in Diamond Cove, Missouri, by Uncle Moses and Aunt Sue Carver, a childless German immigrant couple. In poor health as a child, George stayed near the house helping with chores, learning to cook, clean, sew, mend, and wash laundry. His recreation time was to spend time in the woods. George worked his way through school, and eventually he ended up teaching on the staff at Iowa State College.
Such a time like that.
In the fall of 1896, George surprised the staff at Iowa State College by announcing his plans to give up his promising future there and join the Institute in Alabama. The staff showed their appreciation for him by purchasing him a going-away present, a microscope, which he used extensively throughout his career. George assembled an agricultural department at Tuscany, and he visited nearby farmers and would show them farming techniques such as crop rotation, fertilization, and erosion prevention. Carter noticed that the soil was depleted due to years of repeated cotton growth and produced very poorly. During his time, an insect swept through the South, destroying cotton crops and leaving farmers absolutely devastated. George showed the farmers the benefits of crop rotation and planting different things such as peanuts, which replenish the soil with nitrogen. Farmers heeded Carver's advice, but soon had more peanuts than the market wanted, as peanuts were primarily used as animal feed. George determined to find more uses for the peanut to increase the market for them. Carver discovered and popularized hundreds of uses for the peanut. He did the same for the sweet potato, the pecan, the soy pea, the cowpea, the wild plum, and okra.
Guy's a genius.
A partial list of items derived from the peanuts were compiled by the Carver Museum at Tuscany. Some beverages included blackberry punch, cherry punch, and lemon punch, peanut punch, and a beverage for ice cream, evaporated peanut beverage, dry coffee, instant coffee, and 32 different kinds of milk, including dehydrated milk flakes and buttermilk. Foods he developed were peanut butter, salted peanuts, peanut flour, peanut flakes, peanut meal, butter from peanut milk, breakfast food, cheese, cream cheese, crystallized peanuts, curds, potato nibs, golden nuts, and pancake flour, just to name a few.
Whoa.
But how did George think to make all of these wonderful things just from simple farm ingredients? He prayed every time he entered his laboratory, which he named God's little workshop. He credited divine inspiration for giving him ideas regarding how to perform his
That's right.
experiments.
The Most High gave him that
In the
ability.
summer of 1920, the Young Men's Association of Blue Ridge, North Carolina, invited Professor Carver to speak at their summer school for the southern states. Dr. Willis D. Weatherford, president of the Blue Ridge, introduced him as speaker. With his high voice surprising the audience, Dr. Carver explained humorously, "I always look forward to introductions as I always learn something about myself." He continued, "Years ago I went into my laboratory and said, 'Dear Creator, please tell me what the universe was made for.' And the great Creator answered, 'You want to know? Too much for that little mind of yours. Ask something more your size, little man.' Then he asked, 'Please, Creator, tell me what man was made for.' Again the Creator replied, 'You are still asking too much. Cut down on the extent and improve on the intent.' And so I asked, 'Please, Creator, will you tell me what the peanut was made for?' 'That's better, but even then it's infinite. What do you want to know about the peanut?' 'Mr. Creator, can I make milk out of the peanut?' 'What kind of milk do you want? Good Jersey milk or just plain boarding house milk?' 'Good Jersey milk,' he replied. And then the great Creator taught me to take the peanut apart and put it together again. And out of this process came forth all of these products. Among the numerous products displayed was a bottle of good Jersey milk. 3.5 ounces of peanuts produce 1 pint of rich milk, or 1 quart of raw skim milk, called boarding house or Blue John milk. On January 21st, 1921, at the request of the United Peanut Growers Association, George W. Carver addressed the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee in Washington, D.C., regarding a proposed tariff on imported peanuts. George expounded on the many potential uses of the peanut as a means to improve the Southern economy. Initially given only 10 minutes to speak, George Carver so enthralled the committee that the chairman said, "Go ahead, brother. Your time is unlimited." George spoke for 1 hour and 45 minutes, explaining the many food products derived from the peanut. If you go to the first chapter of Genesis, we can interpret very clearly, I think, what God intended when he said, "Behold, I have given you every herb that bears seed. To you it shall be meat." This is what he means about it. It shall be meat. There is everything there to strengthen and nourish and keep the body alive and healthy. The committee chairman asked Carver, "Dr. Carver, how did you learn all these things?"
Listen to this, y'all.
And Dr. Carver replied, "From an old book." "What book?" asked the chairman. Carver replied, "The Bible." The chairman inquired, "Does the Bible tell us about peanuts?" "No, sir," Carver replied, "but it tells us about the God who made the peanut." I asked him to show me what to do with the peanut, and he did. On November 19, 1924, Carver spoke to over 500 people at the Women's Board of Domestic Missions. God is going to reveal to us things he never revealed to us before if we put our hands in his. No books ever go into my laboratory. The thing I am to do and the way are revealed to me the moment I am inspired to create something new. Without God to draw aside the curtain, I would be helpless. Only alone can I draw close enough to God to discover his secrets. On March 24, 1925, Carver wrote to Robert Johnson, an employee of Chesley Enterprises of Ontario. This is what he wrote. "Thank God I love humanity. Complexion doesn't interest me one single bit." On July 10, 1924, George Washington Carver wrote to James Hardwick. This is what he wrote. "God cannot use you as he wishes until you come into fullness of his glory. Do not get alarmed, my friend, when doubts creep in. That is old Satan. Pray, 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 oh my friend. I am praying that God will come in and rid you entirely of self, so you can go out after souls right, or rather, have souls seek the Christ in you. This is my prayer for you always." Thank you for joining us at the Story of Liberty.
Okay. Something else I would like to check out.
This is Colgate's worst nightmare. A new dental gadget is flying off the shelves. But Colgate is making zero profit.
So I wasn't always a Christian, and I went through a period in my life when acting was my God, and I really worshipped it. I really wanted to be successful. I would compare myself to my other friends. I would look at my past films and be hard on myself, and it was just really, really dark. On top of that, not being happy about myself and who I was, and I knew something was wrong. So it was 2015, and I had just went to Toronto Film Festival with a film, and I had another film lined up. And I remember I was going to Canada, and I remember I just heard this voice. It was just like, this is the last, you're gonna take a break, a big break after this. And I was like, no, I'm not. I got films, I got jobs, I'm lined up, I'm good. But that voice was really true. And I came home and I kind of just realized that something was missing. And I didn't know what it was, but I had to find out. And I remember at the time, some of my friends were Christians, and I always would hang out with them and I'd see their light. And it's not no airy-fairy thing like, Jesus! No, it was literally like peace and joy and serenity. And I noticed that they had something that I didn't have, but I was too scared to approach it, because I believed that Jesus was this, no offense, this is what I thought in my mind. Jesus was a white guy with blonde hair, blue eyes, how can he relate to me? And it was so warped in my mind, like it was not correct, my approach to Jesus. And I remember I just started to seek. And he would just literally line me up with friends. Like my friends would meet me who were Christians and be like, do you want to go Bible study? And they would never ask me this, and I'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, why did I say that? I don't even know like what the Bible is. I don't even know what chapter to turn to. I don't even know like how do you do that? And then I just realized that something was missing, and I started to seek, and Jesus was my last hope. And I remember my friend called me. He plays the new version of Kunta Kinte in Roots, Malachi Kirby. And one day I was in a dark room, literally, I had this pattern, because my depression was so deep, I had this pattern of putting myself in a dark room. And he called me, and he was on his way to South Africa, and he said, something's not right, and God told me to call you. And I burst out crying, and he was like, yeah, like something's not right, like I don't feel that you're in the right place. And I confessed, and I was like, I'm not happy, and I don't know what to do. And he said to me, well, there's Jesus. And I was so honest, I was like, bro, how do I relate to this Jesus you talk of? Like, I don't think that's for me. And he was just like, at least try. He's like, I tried, and he helped me. So he gave me, he said, I'm gonna give you Matthew 6:33. And then he said that I should seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. And righteousness, and all shall be added on. And I took it, and I turned off my phone. He went on his flight, and I said, Jesus, like, if you're real, then show me. And then I stopped acting. I gave it up. I said I never want to do it again. And then I gave my life to him, and sorry guys, like, I cry at home too. It happens all the time. Like, I reflect and I just always cry, like I always cry about it. But I gave my life to him. I remember I told him in that room when I came off the phone, I said, I'm gonna give you a year, and he literally changed it in a month. And he showed up, and I had all of these amazing encounters, and I gave my life to him. And I remember the night I gave my life to him, I literally felt like whatever spirits, like darkness was leaving me, and his whole.
She said he swapped it. He took what was dark and he gave her what was light. He took depression and he gave her joy. He took pain and he gave her peace.
He swapped it. I felt it. I was on my knees in the middle of the road and my hands was up. And I literally, like, I gave my life, and then I ran out of the church with my friend. I was like, I feel like running, so I run and literally, like, this thing just lifted up, and I literally screamed, and I felt this other thing, Holy Spirit. And after that, I'm telling you, the peace that I had, the joy that I had, I literally was like, I'm never.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to the Ford Patriot's new Patriot Power Generator 1200.
Never going back to acting, and I kept praying and I kept going to church. And then one day in like January, he was just like, I want you to go back. I was praying in my room, and he was like, I want you to go back. And I said, I don't want to go back because I don't want to be, you know, like when Moses said, like, if you're not going, I don't want to go. So I was like, if you're not going to go, I'm not going. And he said that I can trust you now. So in 2016, I went back into acting. I called my agent and I was like, she's like, are you coming out of retirement? I was like, yeah. But I just trusted the Lord. I trusted the Lord. I trusted that he had my back and that I wasn't gonna leave him. I was gonna stay with him. So I
Okay. Anyway, this was Letitia Wright. She is Letitia Wright. She was the star of Black Panther, right? And you know, she was she played T'Challa's sister. You know, from Black Panther, right? And she said that God told her to quit acting. She listened to him. She trusted him. He said, I got something else better for you. That's when they called her. That's when they called her for the role of Shuri in Black Panther. So I just thought that was a very fascinating testimony that this sister had. You know, Letitia Wright. I thought it was just a fascinating story, so I thought I'd react to that a little bit. Anyway, just like to say thank you guys for watching. Remember to live every day in victory, and of course, coming to victory music, victory fanfare. Till next time, dudes and dudettes, and we are out.